Hey, it's your boy Jay Hardcore Boxing News. And today I'm here with Heather, the Heat Hardy. How you doing today?
Doing very well. Thanks for having me.
Oh man, it is truly a pleasure to have you, without a doubt. Well, I tell you what, let's just jump right in there. What got you into boxing? Tell me the story.
Well, I was 28 when I first started. I was a single mom living with my sister. We were two single moms, no child support. I was working like six jobs, and she gave me a little gift certificate to a boxing gym,
Mm.
karate school in my neighborhood. And I was doing little karate classes, and one of the girls asked me if I wanted to have a fight. And 3 weeks after I started training, I had my first fight and I won. And it was the first time I ever felt like I was good at something. And I was broke like a joke. And I just thought, man, let's try this. Let's see where we can go.
Wow. 3 weeks after you started
Yeah.
training?
Yeah.
That is truly amazing.
My mom always said, nobody will beat you like I do.
You're born in Brooklyn, New York, right?
Yes, Garrettson Beach.
Yeah, well, you grew up tough then. I can
I
totally
did.
understand that for sure. Brooklyn bred. I
Yep.
totally understand that. Then you do boxing and MMA. Which one is tougher for you? Or you
Well,
think is the toughest?
I'm more natural in boxing, and I have more experience in boxing. So for me, boxing was always my favorite. MMA was so hard because I started so late in life. I didn't start till 35, and I never even tried an amateur fight. I went straight to Bellator, straight to the pros. So I was doing top level MMA with very little skills. So it was tough.
Yeah, I mean, one thing about I look at boxing and I look at MMA, they really can't cross, to be truthfully honest. Because if you bring an MMA fighter into boxing, 9 times out of 10, the boxer's going to beat him. But if you bring a boxer into MMA, probably 10 times out of 10, the MMA will beat the box. The only reason why I say that, because there's so many things you have to learn in MMA. I mean, jiu-jitsu and grappling and this and that and other. So you have to master those, well, not at least master, but know all those, because there's so many different ways that you can lose in MMA opposed to boxing.
For sure, for
Box,
sure.
yeah,
For
yeah.
me, boxing is like a dance, like a beautiful dance, and MMA
Ooh,
is like two people trying to kill each other in there.
waiting for the first one to make a mistake.
Yep, for sure.
No doubt, no doubt. So, do you have anything coming up?
Not at the moment. I just won my last fight less than a month ago. I told my promoter I want to go back for the world titles. You know, I'm in line to go for the 126 world title. Amanda promised to give me a shot. She's out on an injury, so I'm just standing by. If something small or something comes up in between, I'll take it. Otherwise, I'm just training for this world title shot.
Right, right. And you and Amanda have history. You all fought before, correct?
Yeah, she's the one who took. I had my first title defense against Amanda, and she took my world title in 2019. I had it for less than a year, and yeah, so she kind of said before my last fight, like, you gave me your first shot, so I'm gonna return the favor. And she's a girl from Brooklyn, and us Brooklyn girls are true to our word, and I believe that we will fight. She said we will fight, we will fight. So I'm getting
I,
ready.
I like that. I like that. You feel very confident because you all are from Brooklyn, Brooklyn bred, and you feel she will keep her word. And I
Yeah.
believe she will keep her word as well.
Well,
Wow, that
yeah, for sure, for sure.
yeah, that is pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Women boxing has definitely grew so much, and I'm glad for it because I'm gonna be truthfully honest. I feel though that you all scrap the hardest. To be truthfully honest, you take more risks. You know what I mean? And when you all get in there, it's just punches for days.
Yeah, for sure, for
And
sure.
I love that. Man. I'm gonna be truthfully. I mean, I love the pure science as well to hit and not get hit. But I like some rumbling too. And one thing I can say about the women, you all definitely know how to rumble. But how do you feel about how women boxing has evolved?
I'm so proud to be a part of the movement and to have the ability to still be a part in the sport and to enjoy some of the hard work. You know, some of the girls that came before me talked about fighting for $50 a round. And when I started boxing, I might have made $200 a round. And now, you know, now you have girls who are, you know, doing their pro debuts making in the thousands. So, I mean, the evolution from when I started, even from before when I started, is on the uphill. I feel very grateful, very proud, and hopeful for the future because, you know, we're not equal yet. It's not there yet, but it's getting there, and it's beautiful to watch and witness.
You know what? And that's what I was going to say, that how do you feel about that? The equality is not there yet, but it is inching towards that. And what do you feel is going to have to happen for that equality to come?
I think it's just about exposure, and the more exposure we get, the more popular we're going to become, and the more people are going to want to see us. Part of the problem when I started fighting was the only streaming services for boxing was HBO Boxing, ESPN, PBC, and they all were so adamant in 2010, 2011, 2012, Showtime, about airing female fights. They would not air female fights. And it wasn't until Clarissa, you know, won gold in the very first female Olympics, females in the Olympics, and I believe it was 2012. That was when internationally women's boxing started getting recognition. Katie Taylor won gold that year, and people started taking notice because they had no choice. So I think the more recognition and exposure and representation we have, I mean, our skills speak for itself. So it can only go one way.
I 100% agree, and I feel though that you all should get paid just as much as y'all both are taking hits to the head. Yeah. And who can put money on that? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You're risking your lives every day, so you should be able to get paid the same way. And it's starting to show that we will watch women boxing. You know what I mean? Come on now, we're watching YouTubers now, so.
Right.
You all are better than YouTubers, you know what I mean? And they're getting top dollar, you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Yes, indeed. And y'all look much better. So
most of us, yeah.
Okay. All right. The Heat. Tell me about how that movie ended up becoming.
The what?
Didn't they do a movie on you called The Heat?
Yeah. It was.
I get ready to say, did I miss something?
I'm like, what? Yeah, there was a documentary that was done.
Yeah.
A girl was doing her final project, like a thesis, from NYU, like her graduate year thesis, and we kind of bumped heads at Gleason's, and she asked if she could do the project, and kind of followed me around. And my life has kind of had this like storybook chapter by chapter kind of thing unfold. And during the time that she was just shooting my boxing, you know, I had won Golden Gloves, then turned pro, and my house was flooded. I was homeless, and it was just this chaotic mess of a story that just kept going and going and going. So we had it documented, and it was fun to watch some little girl from Garrettson Beach, Brooklyn on the big screen. It was nice.
How about that? And you know what? And that's another way that female boxing evolves. The more exposure you all get on video, you know what I mean? More interviews y'all do, the more knockouts you do. Everything that's on video, because everything is incited by the videos now, you know what I mean? And that just takes things up levels, you know what I mean? So I truly believe that we should get women out there. And that's why I reached out to you. I want to continue on the women's move in boxing, making it evolve more. Not too long ago, I just had Clarissa Shields recently, you know what I mean? And I want to continue on getting more boxers. I think Wednesday I got Raquel Miller, you know, so, you know, we're going to, I want to help be part of that movement.
Oh, well, you mean so much to all of us. Thank you.
I appreciate that. And if you know any women that need some exposure, send them my way.
I certainly will. I will do that.
Okay, let's move into some of the fights that are coming up and give me your input on it. Well, speaking of Amanda Serrano, she was supposed to have been fighting Katie Taylor again. What's your input on that particular fight? How do you feel that fight will go this time if they do get back in the ring?
As a fighter, I don't really like to make predictions or
Okay.
anything. And it's not just because, oh, Heather feels some type of way, blah, blah, blah. Because these are all my friends, my co-workers, so to speak. To criticize one over the next would be to almost like expose my own flaws. So I hate to get on air. I'm one fighter. I won't do that because I know what goes into a training camp. I know what goes into preparing, and I know what it feels like to watch a fight and be in the fight. And people who ain't in there always tend to have like these heavy opinions on it. And it's like, yeah, but it's not what it looked like. It's what was in there. And as a fighter, I know that it's not always what you see, but what's happening, what it feels like in the moment, things that the TVs and the miss because the announcers are talking bullshit about something that's not really happening in there. I can tell you that they're both elite level fighters. It's not like where I think one is better than the other. I mean, this is the type of fight that they both have to just do everything right.
50-50, right. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I always ask fighters, because you all have the insight. You all understand what's going on inside that ring, opposed to a fan that just casually watches boxing. You know what I mean? Now more of us hardcores, we know what we're seeing. And 9 times out of 10, we turn down the commentation and watch the fight for what it's worth.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. Because sometimes I get so pissed off of what they're saying. I'm like,
I know.
come on, what are you talking about? Make me say what Roger Mayweather said. You don't know shit about boxing.
Yeah, it's true. I think he also said, I forgot more about boxing than you'll ever learn.
And that was so true. Roger was a special one for sure. I mean, and he raised one of the greatest fighters of all time. You know what I mean? Floyd Mayweather. So let me ask you a question. On the men's side, who do you like watching?
I'll be honest, I'm one of those fighters who don't really watch boxing.
I
live it, I breathe it. I'm in the gym all day, I'm in sparring all day. I mean, I got an amateur fighter, so I'm at his fights, coaching him, and it's like when I get home, I don't really care. I watch the girls because they're my friends, they're my coworkers. I think it's important to support. But as far as the guys, I think my favorite male fighter is probably Terrence Crawford. He's unreal. So
okay, so you would love to see him and Spence finally get it on.
Yeah, that would be a great fight. I just want to see him fight again. I love watching him box. I love watching him fight. I love watching him pick somebody apart. He, to me, is the best.
Yeah, Crawford he's a great fighter, and he's very cerebral. A lot of people are starting to see that about him. He's very cerebral. You know what I mean? And he downloads his fights first before he really gets to start a fighting, to be truthfully honest. So he's taking in information 1 through 3. And then after that, that's when he starts to step on the gas and really apply pressure and making you make mistakes and things of that nature. So yeah, Bud is great. Now I am a Spence guy myself, and I would love to see both of them into the fight. The reason why I love Spence is because he's just so fundamentally sound. And when he goes into a fight, he puts that pressure on you physically and mentally, where it doesn't allow you time to really think. Because he's constantly coming. So you're more thinking about how I can defend myself and not get caught with one of these crazy punches. So sometimes that erupts the cerebral fighter, some of them. Now you got people like Floyd Mayweather that in the midst of a storm, he can still think like crazy and handle his business. And only the top greats I've ever seen in the middle of the storm, they're like the Matrix in the middle of it. You know what I mean? It doesn't even faze them, just like when Floyd Mayweather fought Madonna. Madonna was just coming crazy at him. And Floyd was just doing little subtle moves, this, that, and the third. You know what I mean? But in the long run, he beat him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And only some of the top people I've ever seen that can really that can be so poised in the ring. And, that's what makes that fight so good, because you got 2 different fighters you know what I mean, at the top of their game, you know, and definitely a 50-50 fight. And it's just a fight that we would just, you see how excited I am
Yeah,
about
you really in this. You selling this fight.
I want to see it.
Yeah,
I
for
want to
sure.
see it. We all want to see it for sure. So yeah, I love boxing and been watching it forever. I'm an old man now, so I've been watching it for a long time, since I was 8. And I take my hats off to you all that come out here and risk your lives, really, to entertain us and also to put money and feed your family. You
Yes,
know
for
what I
sure.
mean? So we definitely thank you.
Thank you.
Well, other than that, do you have anything else that you want to tell your fans while you got this screen in front of you?
I just
Or
want to thank
camera in front of
everybody for
you?
your support. Yeah, in front of me. Just to thank you for your support. Thanks for getting the word out, and hopefully I'll be able to chat with you before my next fight, and we can spread the word.
That will be beautiful. Well, I
Okay.
tell you what, so the people can find you, can you make sure you let them know what platforms that you are on and your handle on
Sure.
your
So
platform?
you can follow me on Instagram at Heather the Heat or on Twitter at Heather Hardy Box.
Well, listen here, this is your boy Jay Hardcore and Heather Hardy, and we out of here.
Hi. Nice talking to you.